I've got my coffee. Hey everybody, Amanda Smith here with Sue Bird, and I have to tell you that when I put out that you were going to be the guest on the show this week, I got a very large amount of messages that were like, no, there's no way. I'm like, guys, I am just as dead as you are. So thank you for agreeing to do this with me today.
Yeah, for sure. No problem.
So we haven't seen you on the court this season with the Seattle Storm. You've been recovering from knee surgery.
Yeah.
Even though you have almost been in the league for 20 years, almost. Has there been anything you've been able to learn or take away having spent this time on the sidelines?
I think sadly I've had my fair share of injuries, so I've had to sit on the sideline quite a bit. The first time being in college, and I remember back then thinking like after the experience, thinking like, wow, like I really benefited from that. I got to see the game from a totally different perspective. I got to really learn and understand my teammates, again, from a different perspective. I think this time around, because I've already experienced that, I knew I wasn't necessarily going to learn something new, but I also knew I still have like a wealth of knowledge that I can kind of help pass on to my teammates. Sometimes it can be hard juggling the like physical therapy part and then also trying to like be in all the meetings and be around the team as much as possible. So that's always a little bit of a struggle, but for the most part, I just tried to be, I don't know, just a resource for my teammates.
What are some of the things you feel like you've been able to pass on to them?
Well, I mean, I've played with them. This is a group that's been together for quite some time. I think this year we really only have, one, technically two, but one of them was actually with us a couple years ago, so she's not really new. So we've been together for like years now. And I think they know they can come to me. I'm definitely the veteran on the team who's like you pointed out. Thanks for that. Almost been in the league 20 years.
That's amazing.
So it's not even, it has nothing to do with, it's just when you're around something for that long, you're going to pick things up. You're going to know things. So I think they know that they can trust me, that whatever I am saying, it's coming from a good place, even if it's something that is tough to say or tough for them to hear.
When you look at your career and all that you've accomplished throughout this span of time, what's been one of the more rewarding parts of this journey for you?
Um, oh man, it depends. Like, I think if I have like my Seattle hat on, since we're talking about Seattle, yes, we've won championships, which is great, and I have tons of memories of those. We've had some tough years, which even though they're tough and you want to forget them, there's learning experiences in there. But just being in one city for my whole career, the way they've embraced me, even it's funny. I think when you're in one place for a long period of time, people start to think you're from there. And I think it's almost like a compliment. People just assume I'm from Seattle. They're like, oh yeah, you're from here, because I've been here for so long. And again, everyone's just kind of like taken me in as one of their own. So I really enjoy that part. And Seattle has such a cool basketball community. Like, it's really a shame they don't have an NBA team here. And I say that just because there's so many great players that have come out of here that are continuing to come out of here. And just, I don't know, like all the basketball players who are in this city, they're just connected in some way. It's really cool. So I'm just happy to be a part of that.
Well, there's no NBA team in Seattle, but last NBA season you spent working in the front office with the Denver Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
What did you take away from your first year with the organization?
Yeah, I learned a lot. I think at the end of the day, front office work is just about, assessing talent, watching as much as you can, like just consume, consume, consume. And then at the end of the day, you have to have like your own opinion, and I think it's important that you study and you, like I said, observe, consume to help you like form the best, most educated opinion. But you definitely have to like be true to what your opinion is. And that's definitely what I learned just being around the guys in Denver, seeing how they operate, seeing how they put together a team. It was great to see, and you can kind of pull from like how each individual does it or how they did it as a group. But then at the end, you still have to be true to what you believe in, And I think Tim Connolly, who's the president there, he kind of was like he's like, sometimes you're going to hit and it's going to be great. And then there's going to be a lot more times that you miss. But as long as you're like coming from that one like solid place where you believe you're doing the right thing, you can live with it. And that's really the one thing I learned from him.
You know, you have said that as a women's basketball player growing up, you didn't have many female players within the game to look up to.
Yeah.
Knowing that there are young girls and women all over the world that watch you and are like, you know what? I want to be like Sue Bird someday.
Yeah, weird.
What influence do you hope to leave on them?
um, I think at the core of it, just this is something I've loved to do, and I've tried to do it in a way that was, true to me. Play in a way that was true to me, not try to be anybody else. I think a lot of people, a lot of basketball players, they go out there and they try to be someone else, and you're just not going to have that much success doing that. You have to be kind of true to yourself. So hopefully, I represent that, and just someone who loved the game and put in the work. I joke, it's like I was never, the fastest or the quickest, or I wasn't jumping the highest, but, I kind of always found a way. And I don't know, I'm 5'9", from the suburbs in New York. And I feel like if you can watch somebody like me be successful in this sport, pretty much saying anybody can do it is basically what I'm trying to say. But there is like a larger thing happening now with women in sports that I'm really happy and proud to be a part of. Obviously right now things are really starting to change, and just whether it's the notoriety or the viewership. So even though I'm at the end of my career, I'm again just really proud that I'm going to be part of this movement or help kick it off. So that's kind of where I am now in terms of like when I see a little girl wearing my jersey, I want to represent all of these things and hopefully make her proud as well.
You talk about where the league has gone. Where do you think that there's still room for improvement?
Mm-hmm.
Don't choke on
Everywhere.
your tea, Sue.
How much time do we have? Yeah, it's been its journey. This league we call the WNBA. I think the trajectory of it is just like it started out super hot, and we got next, and everybody was excited. It was off the Olympics in '96, and there was just a lot of buzz. And for whatever reason, I feel like I have my own opinions on what happened, but it just kind of it plateaued. It maybe even dipped. It's definitely plateaued. But with that, the one thing that has maintained or even gotten better actually is the product itself, like the game itself, the quality of play, the quality of player. That has just gotten better and better. I mean, listen, we're 12 teams. We have 12 roster spots. It is legit survival of the fittest. Like you can't beat bad. Like you will get weeded out so fast. So what that gives you is like really good basketball. It's tough that we're in the summer. Yeah. Do I think women's sports gets the coverage that it needs to be? You turn on the TV, whatever show it is that you watch, and an announcer or commentator or the talking heads, as they like to say, they're going to talk about male sports, and it's not just going to be about the game last night. Are they going to talk about that with a lot of enthusiasm and passion? Absolutely. But they're also going to be like, yeah, did you know that guy tweeted? Or yeah, and Antonio Brown and his helmet, or it's like all these storylines that happen. And then they if you're lucky enough and there's like a 1-minute segment on women's sports, it's like, and the Seattle Storm beat the Minnesota Lynx, and the score was, oh yeah, look, there's Brianna Stewart hit a jumper, and okay, moving on. And it's just, so I think that right there, the media coverage aspect of it, to me, it almost like begins in terms of how this league can grow, because we have the product. Now, are there like a whole bunch of other things that they can get into? Absolutely. I don't think we've done a good job as players or the league itself, marketing. There's a whole other thing you get into, but simple answer could be media coverage.
Got it. Okay. Like we all need to step it up. Hello. Are you talking to me? I'm just kidding. Okay, guys. We are going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because next we're going to get the bird's eye view. Get it? Because it's the word. Stick around. Okay. So we are going to play a round of bird's eye view. So basically, I have a list of 10 questions, Sue. I will just give you a topic or a sentence, and then you just give me the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
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 The bird's eye view. Favorite game day fit you've worn?
Game day fit?
Yes.
We have, wait, when is this airing?
Oh, tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow? Oh, so tomorrow, good, perfect. Tomorrow is our first
Never
playoff
before
game.
heard.
Yeah, tomorrow's our first playoff game, and that might go. That the one I've got reserved for that might be my favorite playoff fit, so or game fit. So you just stay
Okay.
tuned, check it out.
Oh my gosh. She knows how to set the plug up. Okay. Favorite kicks.
Kicks, like to play, to wear, to whatever I want.
We're very open here on the how she did
Okay.
it.
Um, Man, that's a tough one. I think the Sakai's right now are kind of just on a different level. The
Okay.
low tops, the high tops are okay too, but the low tops, and they have new colors coming out in like I don't know, T minus. They're coming out soon.
Have you
So,
ever been starstruck?
yeah, I have. I think it's funny. Most times when I'm starstruck, it's not athletes, it's like actors, and it's mostly because I'm like so engaged in their show that I feel
Yeah.
like talking to. I'm like that person who I'm like, wait, can we talk about your show? The first time it ever happened was I met like a lot of like probably like five, six, seven cast members from The Sopranos. So this is like I'm dating myself, obviously, but this is like
No.
my rookie year, maybe my second year in the WNBA, and I went to this party, and all the Sopranos were there, and I was like, I played it cool. I played it cool. I do
Of
my best, but
course you did. I
yeah.
can never play. Like, wait, I'm sweating. Okay. Your favorite athlete?
My favorite athlete. I was a huge Genesee fan growing up. I think that's why when I talk about like little girls watching me, it's because like I watched her and I thought like,
Right.
oh, this person. I mean, in my case, it was like she kind of looks like me. We're the same size, same hair. Like this could work out. So that was one of my favorite athletes.
Now you're that person. It's all full circle.
Paying,
Uh,
paying it forward.
do you play yourself in 2K? If not, who would you be?
I mean, the only gaming I'm doing, I probably shouldn't admit this publicly, is like old school Nintendo. If I can get like some Mike
That's
Tyson's Punch Out
fun.
in, cool. So I've not played myself or played anybody else in 2K. I don't think I've ever played 2K to be honest.
Favorite non-basketball activity?
um, I'm big into like, well, it's tough. Favorite non-baseball. So I'm trying to because like I'm actually like not that active outside of basketball and like working out for basketball. It's just like I'm
Yeah.
constantly so like I like to chill. So like my chill, like turn my brain off is definitely watching TV shows. And then even though I don't do it as much as I'd like, reading. I'm like I do love reading. But I'm usually like I'm more of like a plain reader if I'm not sleeping, but I'm reading.
Bonus question.
Okay.
Favorite TV show right now?
Ooh, right now. Well, I just finished, well, not just, like a couple weeks ago, Euphoria. That one was like,
I haven't
whoa,
watched it yet.
oh my gosh. I always say, and honestly, I met Eric Dane in real life, and that was one of these examples where I was like, he's in it, and I was like, oh my God, your show's amazing. I couldn't help myself. He was actually super cool though. Yeah, I said to him, I say to everybody, here's the thing about Euphoria. It's like a messed up show. I could use a different adjective there, but this thing is like wild. And I always say, I'm like, if you're someone who really likes it, it probably says more about me than anything else. Now you go watch it, you'll know what I mean. This show
Okay.
is like next level. But I think it's like incredible.
I'm gonna get a better perspective on you. I'm just, what the
I
heck?
know
Why is
it's wild.
seriously to watch
There's
this?
like
No,
a
I'm just
lot
kidding.
happening in it. A lot.
Okay, I'm excited. If you weren't a professional athlete, what do you think you would be?
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like in the cards for me.
Oh, it
I
broke up really quick. Did you answer the question?
No, I can.
Okay, good. Whew.
um, no, I said being an athlete was kind of like in the cards for me. So,
Yeah.
all right, I do enjoy arguing, so I feel like being a lawyer wouldn't be that difficult for me. But the other thing that I like to do, this is going to sound really random. I think I would enjoy being a mediator, which is like the person you bring in to like,
Yeah.
be not the lawyer, but the mediator. I know it's random, but
No, that's okay. Or you could be like a moderator on a sports talk show. I don't know.
for
I'm
that.
thinking future plans here. I'm like available if you need anybody. Um, a song that pumps you up pregame.
Pretty much like any Jay-Z song, I think
Hmm.
works for me. His one song, it's called My First Song. That's a go-to. Oh, now you're frozen. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm
Okay.
here.
All right.
You said it's my first song?
Yeah, the name of the song is My First Song. It's one of my
Got it.
favorites.
You sounded like a robot for a second, but we're okay. And last one, your
Okay.
greatest influence.
My greatest influence? Probably my sister, I think, because like she's 5 years older and growing up, it was like who I had in my house literally to look at every day and kind of emulate and learn from. And luckily for me, I had a great role model in her. She was super smart, super, um, I don't know, just dedicated and committed. You know, I think she actually ended up being a lawyer, although she's a legal recruiter now. But she just was always like really passionate about what she was doing, and like I said, just very, I don't know, focused. And so I think I learned a lot from her.
Okay, guys, don't go anywhere because next Sue is answering your questions. Stick around. Thank you for sending in your questions this week. Sue is going to answer some of them. So, BG321123. You tried to kill me with that username. Would like to know, how is your rehab going? When do you think you'll be healthy enough to come back on the court? We all miss
Yeah.
you.
Thanks. Rehab's going well. You know, rehab is rehab. You just got to take it one day at a time and blah, 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 blah. But it's going well. I'm actually back on the court, but like it's always a progression. So I would say from like 0 to 100, I'm probably at like 75%. So I'm getting there. I'm not, you know, I'm not like just starting, but I'm not anywhere. Well, I shouldn't say anywhere, but I'm not near playing just yet. My plan is to hopefully by like early October be like back on the court, like playing pickup, that kind of thing. So I still have a couple more weeks to get going.
What's the most frustrating part of rehabbing for you?
It's just the you really have to like go slow and like
Mhm.
not rush it and not push it. And there are days where I think the hardest part is there are days where you feel great. And so let's say you're doing something that we'll use basketball terms. Like they're like, all right, go out there and shoot, but you know, only be like 50, 60%, but you feel good. So you want to like accelerate. And you have to like constantly remind yourself, like, don't do that. Like that would be bad. Don't do that. But you feel good. So it's like this like internal struggle. So that's probably the hardest part. And then when it's during a season, I mean, sitting at the games, I love supporting my teammates and all that good stuff, but I mean, it's not fun just watching. It's
Yeah.
fun in some aspects, but like you'd rather be playing.
Yeah, but you're a competitor. You want to be out there.
Yeah, you just rather be playing. And what people
Yeah.
don't know about those that are injured, it's like you think it's like some sort of vacation. Usually when you're injured or doing rehab, whether it's in season, out of season, whatever, you're actually working like 10 times harder. Not harder, like 10 times more. You know, so like, you know, my team goes to practice and then when practice is over, it's over. I have to like lift before practice, do this during practice, then you're doing this after practice, then you have this and you have that because it's just this. Anyways, so being
You're
hurt is a grind.
almost there, though.
Yeah.
Almost. Madison Kilroy would like to know, what do you wish more people understood about being successful in women's sports?
Understood. Well, I think what is really like I was gonna say complicated. I think what's difficult, complicated about being successful in women's sports is it's not always just about your performance. You know, there's this like vibe out there that it's definitely changing, to be honest. But I think early on in my career, there's this vibe that you had to be like perfect. You know, you had to be, not only did you have to be good at what you were doing, but you had to be the prettiest, you had to be the most well spoken, you had to, you know, I don't know, be able to go into any room and talk to anybody. And you don't have that in male sports. Like men can just are generally just appreciated for their play or whatever they do on the court or whatever sport they play. And I think for women, there's this, I don't know, there's this expectation of perfection across the board. And I just think that's, it's like a really complicated dynamic to it when you're a female. And again, luckily it's like totally changing. Not as quickly, I think, as we would like it, but it's definitely getting there. But you just don't see that in male sports. So I think that's what's something that's kind of hard for females.
When you talk about this idea of perfection,
Mm.
how have you maybe dealt with the pressure that I think you can put on yourself of saying, okay, I need to do this perfectly, which we all know doesn't exist, right? But we
Yeah.
still have that feeling of, if this isn't perfect,
Right.
maybe I'm not going to get this job or people aren't going to like me or whatnot. How have you dealt with
Right.
that?
Yeah. Well, it's basically, you know, you're trying to be everything to everybody and whoever
Right.
that person, you know. I think just through like the years and just through like, probably just maturity,
Yeah.
you just kind of shed that, early on for me personally. It wasn't that I was like going out of my way to do it. I was almost just like a chameleon. Like I was just like, okay, what do I have to do? I didn't necessarily go out of my way. I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but then at one point you just kind of like, not like one specific point, but at some point you're just like, I'd rather just wear sneakers than heels. Sorry. I'm just more comfortable in sneakers. So luckily that came around and it's now cool to wear sneakers, even with like a dress. Like this. At some point you just start to do what feels right to you. And for some, it's out of the womb that this happens. They're like that right away. For me, it definitely took time to just get a little more comfortable in my skin, just a little more comfortable in who I was. And I think I don't know. I just don't know that I could be totally wrong. I'm sure there's some men out there that feel this way. I just don't think it's the same for men in male sports.
Sneakers over heels every day.
All day.
The
I mean,
swag
listen, I've
queen.
had literally like 9 lower limb surgeries. Why are you trying to put me in heels? This is like not. I'm like literally hurting in order to like look a certain. Nah, I'm done with that.
Nah. So Tyson Ewing says, of all your accomplishments, does any one moment stick out to you most and why?
Um, I always say I'm like, this question's tough. I'm lucky that it's tough. It means I've done
You're like, oh my
a couple
gosh,
things.
what did I do?
Um, I I mean, truth be told, I don't know if it's because it's the most recent, but the last championship in Seattle, which was last year in 2018, that was I think that'll go down because for a lot of reasons, like, but most being that we kind of had gone through a rebuild, and I just really never thought that I had been on some epic Seattle Storm teams, and I just at that point in my career, like if you'd asked me 3 years ago, I never would have thought we were barely making the playoffs. I never would have thought we would be in the finals, let alone win the whole thing. So for like a laundry list of reasons, like my health, my age, again, the fact that we, went through a rebuild, got to the other side so fast. It was such a surprise that I don't know. I just think it'll always kind of stick out amongst some of the championships that I've won.
All right, last question is from
Okay.
Solly Lowe. I kind of love this one. Let's
Okay.
reflect. He says, if you could tell yourself something from 10 years ago today, what would it be?
So my,
Oh, wait, I read it wrong. Redo.
yeah.
If you could tell yourself now, no, if you could tell yourself
Something I know now.
years ago,
Yeah.
something you know now.
Got it. What would it be? I think along the same lines of what I was just talking about, just like kind of the whole being yourself, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Like, as everyone knows, I came out 2 years ago. And it's funny because it wasn't like that I was like closeted in any way. Like what you find out when you're like a public figure is there is a difference, which I didn't buy into at first, but there is a difference between being out to your friends and your family and like all the people in your world, your teammates, your coach, like everybody you come across, and then actually saying it publicly. I just kind of like, well, what's the difference? Why do I have to say it publicly if like literally everybody knows? But for like, again, a laundry list of reasons, there is a difference in saying it. And I didn't realize even the impact it would have on me. So I think what I would tell that I guess 28-year-old is as far as just being open about your sexuality, like just do it. Like I mean, it never was a huge stress on me just for like a short period of time, but for the most part, it wasn't like I had a weight on my shoulders, but there is something really nice about just being like knowing everybody knows what's up. It does feel kind of good. So I wish I would have done that sooner.
Now you're just like literal couple goals, power couple of my life on every magazine. I'm dead.
No, I probably should have said Megan for my favorite athlete. Oh well, next time.
That's okay. We won't add her.
But when you talk about, the impact of being able to say that you didn't even know what it would have on you to say, this is me, this is who I am, what do you mean by that?
Well, like I said, I really, this wasn't like a secret,
Right.
even when the article came out and I walked in, into the locker room with my teammates, nobody was like, oh my God, everyone was like, what's up, Sue? Like it wasn't different for, I would say 80% of my world, but there was this other percentage that either they only know Sue Bird, the basketball player, or like, not like people that I would call family or friends, nothing like that. But people that kind of have an outside view. Anyway, point being, I think, I don't know, just like saying it, having and knowing people know, not having to ask, not having to answer the question all the time, which is actually fairly innocent. But like, you meet someone and like, oh, so do you have a boyfriend? And you have to be like, well, like, and then you have to constantly be handling that. It was nice just to like be done with it. And now I don't have a deal. And also, I mean, when I said laundry list of things, one of the main ones is you're helping other people, and I didn't realize, I thought I was already living my life, what I felt to be genuinely. So, and nowadays it's actually still really important. You're still, I guess, normalizing it, so I don't know. I learned a lot from the whole process.
Well, you have been, like we're talking about, not just an influence in the basketball world, but now being an influence and an example to just, like you said, be yourself. This is who I am.
Yeah. It's not
I'm
easy.
Sue Bird. If I can, play in the WNBA, you can do it. Be honest about yourself. So thank you so much for making time to come on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, guys, for Sue Bird, I'm Amanda Smith. We'll catch you next time.